Morning of day 3.
Yeah.
All the born again guys went out, I believe, except Kevin, who killed one. But I don't think Wild Time's moving over there in that camper. But yeah,
we're gonna go. Mornings are the best, I guess.
Alright guys, it is day 3, public land challenge in Indiana, and it is already 50 degrees, and it's probably going to reach almost 80 in the next couple hours, so really hot today.
Alright guys, I'm making my final adjustment here. It's Friday morning, and the weekend warriors are going to be coming out here. We're staying till Sunday, but I need to get my stand somewhere that I feel confident for when the woods get flooded with more bow hunters. And I moved farther down off the ridge where I've been hunting that bedded buck, the one I jumped while scouting and then bumped yesterday morning when I was setting up. Farther down the ridge, found a private cornfield right on the edge, and then huge scrape inside this tree line. So it's already starting to look up a little bit. We're probably 250, 300 yards from where I've been sitting every morning so far. But I'm gonna keep moseying down here along this path. It's good stuff. We came up out of that bottom next to that cornfield, took a thick valley up, found some rubs, and then got up on a little ridge, finger ridge, and there is a scrape down there, there's a scrape here, there's 3 scrapes here. So there's something working the top of this road, and you can see very far off to my left here. So somewhere in here might be the ticket to where I can see a great distance and shoot this road for the next 4 sits. Final adjustments for my last 4 sits have been made. I'm gonna go out, get some lunch, probably take a little nap, do some laundry, and then I'll be back out here about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's probably a little bit after 9 right now, 10:30, a little later than I thought, but we're gonna boogie out of here, get back in a few hours. This is one of those pieces where everywhere I walk I'm finding sign. I'm just trying to find the fastest way back out of here to the cabin and our access point, and I just keep running across sign, so I'm gonna have to be walking over sign to get to my spot, but that's okay.
Initially, did you think it was good, or?
Yeah, we thought he crashed at first.
Oh, it just, I mean, it's straight up.
It's no, 0 penetration.
Wow. How far?
Like 23, 24 yards. Not good, not good.
I shot my buck I shot last year hit the joint, and I mean, it blew the joint in half, but I had at least 9 inches.
I know. I've never had that.
20 yards.
I've never had that issue. Never. I mean, I'll show you my.
Because I use my lineman's belt.
Yeah.
This sun is intense.
This is the outfit tonight, boys.
80 degrees. Luke's wearing his hey dudes.
Leaky shirt, old Nomad Bottomlands pants, and hey dudes. And an original SPO hat.
Mine.
Not available on the Leaky Job Boat Company, but we can probably start getting some. So that'll be in the future, hopefully.
Got the WTFers over here.
Oh yeah.
Make it happen, boys. All right, guys, I'm halfway through this 2,000 yard march. still finding sign, just like when I came in here and came out of here earlier this morning. There's just sign everywhere. And I just bumped a 1.5-year old 6-point off this ridge, which is interesting. Me and Luke were both in here this morning a lot, so I know that deer was already on his feet moving around. Definitely wasn't bedded in here when we came through this exact point a couple hours ago. So bucks are already on their feet. Matt and the Born Again guys are tracking his buck. Beautiful 10-point. Hopefully we have that story to show for you guys. And Wildtime TV hopped out about an hour ago hunting, so we're all in the woods. All right, so it is Friday night. Little housekeeping things since I'm stuck at camp, since I'm tagged out. Everybody else is hunting. One of the Born Again guys is, I think he might be filming, he's not here. But got my buck scored. There he is. Final score, 114 1/8. So 114 1/8, a little bigger than we thought. He had some extra time length, and his beams were longer than we thought, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to show you around the cabin. It's a little messy, but that's what happens when you get 13 dudes hunting around here. And we'll go from there. I don't know if anybody's done a tour yet. There's a super secret Huffy. Brought that just in case I needed to access some woods that was far from the parking spot, but haven't had to use it. In the cabin, cot, air mattress, couch. There's only one bedroom here, so here's the bedroom and bathroom. Super nice to have a full-size big bathroom at deer camp, so that's cool. And then the kitchen. Right now we're working on some baked potatoes, and these are the sheds that Gavin from Wildtown found. It's like probably a 125, 130 inch 8-point. Real heavy mats. Real good mats on those things. But that's pretty much what we got going on. So I'm cooking, waiting for news from those guys. No news yet tonight. Flew the drone a little bit. That was cool. So we'll show that video just around camp. And that's what we got. Got my deer all butchered, and the Born Again guys' deer's in there. Mine's all down here, all vacuum packed. That's his up there. But camp life is good. I'm slightly stir crazy, slightly bored because I just been sitting here. Tomorrow I'm probably gonna hike in, maybe do a little scouting for next year and pick up my stands. Luke's hunting in one of my stands tonight, but I have 2 stands out in the woods I have to pick up before Sunday. So we got 2 more days of hunting. I think 3 more sits, if you don't include tonight, for those guys. Hopefully someone else can make it happen, and go from there. So stay tuned. Be cooking later. That's probably all you're gonna see of me on the rest of this video, but it's been an awesome trip so far. Well, before everyone bombs in here, we can go over the night's hunt. Luke?
I saw 0 deer.
I bumped one on the way in.
We're doing good.
Hunting was rough today. Temps were close to 80 though.
I cooked some dinner. This is what I wore.
Isaac cooked dinner for us.
Yeah.
Smells better than I thought, actually.
Pretty ripe in there.
Well, I'm changing my socks, so
Smells better than I thought, man.
freaking my feet are right.
On the wrong side of the way.
It's all right though.
Yeah, drinking is not.
Listen, I've smelled some bad smells in my life. This ain't too bad.
I have that lens. No zoomy, huh?
No zooming.
What you got there?
You're not fancy like Joe?
Joe's lens costs a little bit more than mine.
It does indeed.
Alright guys, it's the morning of day 4, and it's the warmest morning we've had so far. Temps in the mid-50s, and they'll be shooting up to the 60s by probably 9, 10 o'clock. I'm back in the 2,000 yard stand. Alright guys, it's day 4. I'm sitting back in Isaac's stand this morning. It is Saturday. No deer yet, it's probably 7:45. Been in here for about an hour and a half, and no deer at first light. I didn't see any deer when I came up here and run away. Caleb said he saw some, heard some, bumped some out, so. Alright guys, it's day 4, public land challenge, and I said I was going to spend all 4 sits, my last 4 sits, in that spot, but after 2 sits in a row and not seeing any deer, I got to make a move, and I'm actually pretty astounded I haven't seen deer because I'm still finding sign like this. Now, that rub was made by a serious deer. So I'm heading closer to the food. I haven't sat close to the food yet. I've been back tucked away at these high ridges this entire time, but my last sit, which is going to be tomorrow morning, because I do not think I'll be able to get out tonight. My last sit tomorrow morning, I'm going to be hunting right up against the food on a hot scrape and hope for a miracle. That right there is the Alamo. That's going to be my last stand. I'm going to hunt that tomorrow morning and then pull it, and then we're going to boogie out of here. I set this up next to the only remaining standing cornfield in the area according to the maps. Everything else is beans and was harvested. There's a line of scrapes going down this ridge, and then up behind me here is where I was hunting the last 2 days, and it is absolutely tore up. I already showed you all that sign. And I can't believe how tore up it is with how little deer we're seeing. I did bump some does or some deer when I was getting into my stand this morning. They were eating acorns around the base of my stand, and they kind of pushed off. So and I know we saw a couple small bucks. Luke's seen 2 small bucks, and I've seen a small buck over the last few days. But there is obviously a mature deer or 2 in here working this area up, and maybe they're feeding in and around this cornfield, and I can catch him sneaking back to his bed, leaving this field in the morning. That's the plan, at least. I'm gonna do some video editing today. I think they're doing a podcast with Born Again Outdoors right now back at the camp. And then tomorrow we head back to Ohio and get into our rut hunting. You ready for Custer's last stand, or the Alamo?
Yeah, the Alamo. 4th quarter.
Oh yeah. This is bottom 9th 2 outs.
We got one more sit.
And we're both going to stands that we haven't hunted yet.
Yeah. So hopefully we can make something happen.
Looking for some magic. It's early. It's our last day. As soon as this morning hunt's over, we're boogieing out of here, but me and Luke have one last Alamo stand to make. Pretty excited about it. Magic could happen. Crazier things have happened. Should be a lot of fun. Well guys, I hope you can hear me through the wind here, but the Alamo did not produce, and I'm getting ready to tear down for the final time, head back to camp. We're going to pack our stuff and boogie back to Ohio. I had a blast on this trip, and I did not see I did not see very many deer from stand, but I did see a lot of good deer when I was doing my scouting and walking around. A lot of good deer activity, an unbelievable amount of sign. You can see the scrapes from the tree. The guys that are running cell cameras with the other groups up here, and a lot of the guys on the public forums in Indiana right now, as soon as the temperatures increased 2 days ago, movement dropped to a standstill during the day. Even the scraping activity at night went way down. We went from temperatures 30, 40, 50s. We had a high in the 20s one morning to temperatures in the 70s and 80s with this morning was 64 degrees when we left the cabin. So weather did affect the end of our trip here. I had a blast. Isaac killed a great buck. It was real good hanging out with Wild Tine and Born Again all weekend. We can't wait to do this again. We've already decided we're coming back here next year, and we're going to do this all over again, the same spot. We're going to rent the same cabin and hunt all these properties again because we love it, and we know that there's some really good deer in here. And we'll probably do it a week later so we hit the rut a little bit better, but really looking forward to editing up this footage and putting this little series together. It's going to be a 3-part series that'll probably be out late next week. The first episode will probably air, so we're going to kind of try to coordinate with Born Again. They have a lot of good footage. They have some great stories to tell as well. Those guys put a lot of time into the stand and had some great encounters, and Matt's got a hell of a story to tell. It's going to be fun to watch it all. We did 2 podcasts last night, so those will be coming out, and we'll share those with our audience. and it's exciting. It was a lot of fun, but we are tearing down. The camera's going away. Lone Wolf going away. Well, this is the worst part of the trip right here. Great pack up. Man, we got a lot of stuff. We're gonna do a double, triple check of the cabin.
We still got 20 minutes back left.
Oh yeah.
Take my coat.
Don't forget.
I would've forgotten.
I know you will. Isaac, you guys scoot over a little bit, buddy.
I thought you were gonna sit on the other side.
No, I'll sit on the end.
Scooch over. It is the bottles that the tops fly off. Those are the bird dog bottles.
Yeah, those bottles gotta stay upright. Don't lay those bottles down. Tell me what you think.
I can't really taste it.
He's got COVID, so we're all screwed right now. As you can tell, it's morning, even though Isaac's doing shots.
I got the sickness.
He's got the sickness. He's probably got the COVID for the 4th time, I think, now. You've had COVID like 3 or 4 times?
3 times.
We tested negative for COVID this time, right?
We actually keep, you guys actually might think this is funny, we actually keep COVID tests here in the shop because we congregate. I don't know where they're at right now. Over there. We congregate here so much, we just have rapid tests laying around. People start showing weakness, we can hit them with it. But yeah, Isaac's doing a shot here of the homemade hooch. It's not technically homemade, so don't let the ATF come knock our door down. I just age. Every year I do a batch of aged whiskey in an oak barrel with some stuff added into it, and I got that batch done for this year. But we're here to do the final thoughts on our Indiana series. You guys have already seen the first 2 episodes, and this is the 3rd one. We kind of decided to do this little breakdown 2 parts because there wasn't a lot of hunting footage to finish off the series. We had a ton of scouting footage and we hunted a lot, but personally I didn't see very many deer from stand. I know Luke got into the young bucks a lot.
Well, I saw 2, and they were within 10 minutes of Isaac shooting his buck.
Yeah, there was one morning that was just
the only
fire.
time I saw deer.
It was that morning was fired. That's the morning that I bumped a deer real early walk. As I was setting my cameras up, I had a deer come in. Pretty sure it was a buck, single deer, heading back to his bed that I bumped him from the night before. But Isaac killed his buck that second morning, or it was our first morning, second day there.
I only had 2 sits.
Yeah, he only sat
total
twice.
like 4 hours.
So after Isaac killed this buck, the temperatures went from 20s and 30s to 80, and it was 80 the rest of the week, which I know during the rut and stuff doesn't technically affect anything, but it was pre-rut. You know, it was like what, October 19th, 20th.
Yeah, so we were there a little bit early.
So it's still heavy pre-rut,
But as you can see, these deer were rubbing like crazy. I mean, he's all rubbed
Oh, yeah.
off, and he's got bark and all sorts of dirt
And-
in his antlers.
in the video before this, or in this video before we sat down and finalized it here with this interview, you saw all the scouting that me and Luke were doing, the sign that I was finding. The sign I found was unbelievable. It was better than any sign I found yet here in Ohio, and it was on public land in Indiana, and it was just laid down. But I think the main takeaway is I was in there diving around looking for sign, finding all the sign, but I think my intrusion at that time of year, I left a lot of scent, and I obviously made a lot of noise, and I bumped a bunch of deer doing it, and I bumped a bunch of deer going in the mornings. I would be walking in, getting closer to my stand on the oak flats, and deer would just take off. And
when we're only hunting for a couple days, once you bump those deer out of there, it's gonna be a while for them to come back.
It's not like here at home or on your own private managed farms, you can bump some deer and a week later everything's back to normal. And we have a couple days to get it done, and I think I dove in. I don't want to say I dove in too deep. I think I went and created too much disturbance for the spots I was hunting, and it just kind of kept the deer. It pushed them over possibly just to the next ridge or just to the next valley. I mean, I'm sure they didn't go far, but Isaac's technique of going in high, quick, hanging up a stand and getting out without diving into the bottoms and looking for sign, and he was just hunting literally maps. That's what Isaac, as a Western hunter, he's used to hunting maps, and he found stuff on the maps before we went, and he went and literally hung his stand where he wanted to based on what he saw from here in Ohio on his phone apps.
Yeah.
Kill a deer first sit.
Went to the saddles I wanted to go to on a ridgeline. As soon as I found that first sign, which was a huge scrape, probably the biggest one we found all week.
Oh, it was massive.
I set up on
5
that.
feet. It was a community scrape.
that's what I set up on, and that's what I shot him off of, basically.
We touched a little bit on Born Again Bow Hunting's story with Matt's buck. Their episodes will come out and tell that whole complete story, but they did something that we didn't do. We did it originally. When we went to Indiana the first time, we ran cell cams while we were there, and it did help a little bit. I got some pictures of pretty good deer. Obviously all the same type of caliber that we've been hunting and killing up there, similar to Isaac's buck and Doug's buck from a couple years ago, but they were running cell cams, and they were up there a little bit longer than we were. We went 4 or 5 days, 4 days. They went like 6 or 7.
3 days before us.
But they were getting some really good deer on show camera. So we know that the age class bucks are around.
And the size of the bucks.
Yeah, the size of the bucks up there are pretty comparable here to Ohio. Obviously, I don't think you're going to run into very many, 200 class, 170 class freak bucks. I mean, it's possible there, but not with the frequency we have in Ohio. But
we estimated this thing at 3.5, and it's pretty consistent with the 3.5-year-olds we have around here, I would guess.
Yeah, ours might be a touch bigger at times. It just depends.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
But there was, where we were hunting, there was a decent amount of ag. We're not going to give away locations. Indiana has a ton of public land, which is cool. If you want to hunt Indiana, I'd say do it, because there's just public land all throughout the state. And we've hunted a bunch of different pieces now, and it's been fun. We've had a good time. And it seems like every time we go, someone gets the hot area and kills a deer. I mean, that's just the way, There's some guys that struggle a little bit, and then there's some guys that get in the hot areas, and it's kind of luck of the draw. But I know where I'm going if we go back next year, which we are planning on doing it again next year.
Yeah, a week later, we think.
Yeah, probably a little bit week later.
More towards Halloween-ish.
Yeah.
Or just a couple days before Halloween.
And we're hoping that a couple of the YouTube channels that we were talking with about going this year that backed out will be able to make it. We don't need to have 10 different channels in the camp, but 5 would be a good number. 4 or 5 channels would be a good number. We had 3 this year: Wild Time TV, Born Again Bow Hunting, and ourselves. And I know I had fun, and I think they did too. And their videos will showcase it. They'll be able to tell their stories when they release their videos. We kind of got a jump start on it. I know Joey's been real busy. Joey from Wild Time, he killed a giant, almost 200-inch buck here in Ohio, and he's filming. He's actually got some professional gigs. He's doing some filming for some companies and stuff now. So.
And he's gonna mount this deer for him.
And yeah, he's gonna do a pack. He's a taxidermist on the side, so he's gonna do a pack mount, a real pack mount, because we actually packed this deer out on a metal frame pack, though. I think, right? Yeah. None of that wooden frame pack stuff. It's 2022. No one's using wooden backpacks, but it'll be a good addition here to the deer shop.
Yep.
This is really the first time we've ever broke a hunt down here in the shop since we made it. We built this spring, so we've been using it a lot, and you've probably seen it in a lot of the videos, but this is the first time we broke a hunt down here, and we'll probably do a lot more. Every time some success happens, we'll sit here and go over some stuff.
It's November 3rd.
Yeah, I got a lot
of success is going on.
I got a lot of stuff to do today to prepare for next week. It's going to be warm this weekend and next week, but then the next week after that, so like the 11th through the 17th, temperatures in the 40s. It's going to be amazing.
Right before we head to West Virginia.
Yeah, we're going to. Apparently, Isaac's leaving for Pennsylvania this weekend, so he's going to do another little public land series. We'll see how that shakes down, what happens there. But
yeah, more of an experiment than anything else. We haven't deer hunted in that area, so
a lot of trout fishing and turkey hunting, but never deer hunted. We're going to in West Virginia 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I think it's like 16 days for our annual deer camp down there, which is always the most fun we have throughout the year. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
We did some podcasts with Born Again, and that was fun too.
That should be dropping soon.
Yeah, their podcast. The first one's out with Joey's buck. I just kind of sat in on that one. I wasn't really a contributor, but we have a podcast of us 3 sit down with Born Again, and that was a lot of fun. And I'm assuming eventually we'll probably start a podcast of some kind.
Yeah,
it'll be in this room is where we'll probably host it most of the time. But it was fun. Indiana was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the series. Obviously, the second episode is the one you want to watch. First episode is our first days in scouting. Second episode is the story of Isaac's buck and our good morning. And then this episode is kind of a recap with the scouting we found with some camp life. But kind of gives a little brush up on Matt's little hunt that he had, his little situation, which you got to watch his videos. Born Again Bow Hunting, he'll have his story. Yeah, I mean, I hate to cut it short, but I got to go get a haircut. My hair's out of control.
Yeah.
And it's November 3rd. I got to do some scouting and hang some stands. And
we got to do some hunting.
Yeah. It'll be fun. Luke, you got anything to add? I know we always talk over you.
Not much. The same with scouting too much in Indiana. I just scouted a bunch and pushed all the deer out and then sat and didn't see anything. So maybe if we go a week later, the deer will be moving around more. or we just don't scout as much.
I think just to hit that one last time, I think the deer were on their pre-rut patterns, so just dropping scrapes and making rubs and walking the same trail every day and kind of scent checking areas and just getting into it. And when we introduced ourselves to that situation, just bomb in, I think it kind of bumped them off their pattern a little bit. If you go a little bit week later, when we went the first 2 times and bucks are chasing for the rut, I mean, we all had opportunities of shooting bucks, chasing does by, and that would help our success a little bit, I think, to get in the areas we know the deer are to when they're chasing.
And we'll do a little bit more homework, more mapping, more entry exit route.
Yeah, the bane of my existence for hunting public land like that is it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're just busting through those little green thorns and making noise and sweating because we still hunt with stands. We haven't done the saddle game yet. The other guys are all hunting saddles and we haven't started.
We were the only ones with stands in camp.
I think my pack weighs 60 pounds. So
because we have camera gear as well. And we're the only ones self-filming too.
Yeah, everyone else was filming each other and we were self-filming, but that's just the way we do it.
Yep.
Cool?
Cool.
Good luck to everybody.
Alright guys, it's about 9 o'clock and I got a mile walk with all the stuff on my back. Probably 300-foot elevation gain twice, so I'm going to start packing up and that wraps it up. No deer since Thursday morning was the last time I saw a deer. And I don't know if Caleb saw a deer at all from the stand. I know he bumps on in and out evening and morning and saw some, but